The first thing Alex noticed was the cold. Not just the chill in the room, but something deeper, an unfamiliar heaviness pressing down on their chest. They blinked against the dim morning light filtering through the curtains, struggling to remember where they were. The sheets beneath felt coarse, not like their own bed. Slowly, Alex's eyes adjusted to the unfamiliar room, faded wallpaper peeling at the corners, a cracked window letting in a dull, gray dawn. Heart pounding, Alex pushed themselves up, noticing the strange sensation in their limbs, muscles that didn't move the way they used to, fingers that felt oddly foreign. There was a sharp, surreal disconnect between mind and body. Panic began to creep in. They stumbled toward the bathroom, a gnawing sense of dread building with every step. When they reached the mirror and looked up, their breath caught in their throat. The face staring back was not theirs. The reflection had unfamiliar eyes, darker, wider, almost haunted. The jawline was sharper, the skin paler, and the hair a shade lighter than Alex's own. It was someone else. Someone they had never seen before. A flood of strange memories crashed in, fragments of a life that wasn't theirs. Vivid flashes of places, people, conversations, and even emotions that felt alien but intensely real. There was a man's deep voice in a crowded bar, the smell of rain on a city street, a blurred argument overheard in a cafe. These weren't Alex's memories, they belonged to this other person, this body that now held their consciousness. Confused and terrified, Alex tried to piece together what had happened. Was this some twisted dream? A nightmare? Or something far worse? The apartment was unfamiliar, yet strangely lived in, as if this body had a history and a life Alex had no right to inherit. Their phone lay on the counter, buzzing with messages from unknown contacts. Faces popped up, friends? Enemies? Alex hesitated, fingertips trembling, afraid to dive deeper into this strange new existence. Every sound outside the window, the distant hum of traffic, the birds' chirps, felt like a reminder of the life moving on without them. Who was this person? Why had their soul been swapped? And most terrifying of all, would they ever wake up in their own body again? Alex's reflection blinked back, eyes wide with the same question, as the room grew colder and the morning light dimmed. The first hours in the stranger's life were a blur for Alex. The apartment, once silent and cold, began to fill with uneasy reminders of the person whose body they now occupied. Clothes strewn across a chair, worn shoes by the door, half-empty bottles on the kitchen counter, small, everyday details painting a picture of a life they didn't understand but had to live. With trembling hands, Alex reached for the phone again. Names and messages flooded the screen, some friendly, others curt and hostile. One message stood out: "Where are you? We need to talk. It's urgent." The tone sent a chill down Alex's spine. Who were these people? Friends? Enemies? Hesitantly, Alex stepped outside, feeling the strange weight of unfamiliar shoes on the pavement. The city around them buzzed with life, but nothing felt welcoming. Strangers glanced curiously, some recognizing the person's face and nodding greetings Alex didn't know how to return. Each interaction was a puzzle, words and places that meant nothing to them, memories that should have been theirs but weren't. In a nearby cafe, a woman approached, her eyes sharp but cautious. "You're late," she said, voice edged with worry. "Are you okay? We've been trying to reach you." Alex wanted to ask who she was, why she cared, but the words caught in their throat. The woman's gaze flicked over Alex's face, searching for signs of the person she knew. Alex's silence only deepened the tension. Back in the apartment, Alex found a journal filled with frantic entries, notes about threats, strange encounters, warnings about someone watching. Fear pulsed through every line. The more Alex read, the clearer it became: the original owner of this body was in danger. And now, Alex was caught in the middle. Every shadow in the apartment seemed to whisper secrets. Strange noises echoed down the hallway at night, footsteps where no one should be, fleeting glimpses of figures outside the window. The city itself felt alive with menace. Alex grappled with two questions: who had this person been? And how could they survive in a life shadowed by fear? The boundaries between self and stranger blurred, as memories tangled with reality. Each moment was a battle to stay sane, to hold on to the hope of returning home. Outside, the sky darkened with storm clouds, ominous, like the fate now entwined with Alex's stolen identity. Days passed in a haze of confusion and fear. Alex's grip on reality felt thinner with every passing hour. Then, one night, the messages began, whispers in the dark, shadows reaching through the veil between past and present. It started with a dream. A vivid, haunting vision of a woman's face, urgent, pleading. Her voice echoed in Alex's mind, "Find the truth before it's too late." Alex woke drenched in sweat, heart racing, the line between dream and memory blurring. Then, the phone buzzed with an anonymous text, "Look under the floorboard." Trembling, Alex rushed to the living room. Beneath the worn rug, they pried up a loose floorboard and found a small, dusty box. Inside lay letters, photos, and a strange pendant carved with unfamiliar symbols. The letters told a story, a warning about an ancient curse tied to the body Alex now inhabited. The original owner had been desperate to break free, caught in a sinister ritual that transferred souls between bodies. The curse wasn't random, it was targeted. Someone wanted to control the switch, and destroy those trapped inside. As Alex read, more memories flooded in, visions not their own, but deeply felt. Glimpses of a secret meeting, hushed voices exchanging cryptic warnings, a shadowy figure promising power in exchange for loyalty. The pieces of the puzzle started to fit together, but the picture was darker than Alex imagined. The pendant glowed faintly in their palm, pulsing like a heartbeat. It seemed to respond to Alex's touch, a beacon in the growing darkness. Suddenly, the lights flickered. A cold wind swept through the apartment, though the windows were shut tight. The shadows deepened, and a whisper floated through the room, "You cannot escape." Alex's reflection in the mirror flickered. For a moment, the eyes looking back weren't theirs, they were filled with desperation, warning, and a silent plea for help. The truth was no longer just a mystery, it was a race against time. Someone, or something, was closing in. The curse was real. The switch was more than a nightmare. And the only way out was to unravel the secrets buried deep in the past. With the pendant clutched tightly, Alex knew the journey had only just begun. Nightfall swallowed the city, casting long shadows that crept into the corners of Alex's apartment. The air was thick with an unsettling silence, broken only by the faint, rhythmic tapping of rain against the window. Alex sat before the cracked mirror, eyes fixed on the reflection that still wasn't quite their own. Suddenly, the surface of the glass shimmered, distorting like water rippling in a storm. And then, for a heartbeat, another face appeared, a ghostly silhouette trapped behind the mirror's veil. It was the original owner of this body, but something was terribly wrong. Their eyes were hollow, lost in an endless void, their mouth opening silently as if begging for rescue. Alex's breath hitched. The reflection shifted again, and the room around them seemed to dissolve. They were pulled into a liminal space, neither here nor there, where time and reality twisted like smoke. In this strange realm, Alex saw fragments of the original owner's memories, flashes of terror, betrayal, and a desperate fight for freedom. The other self was trapped in a shadowy prison, a place between life and death, where souls were held captive by an unseen force. Whispers echoed all around, voices warning Alex not to trust the light, not to trust the darkness. The boundaries between their identities blurred. Sometimes, Alex felt the other self's pain and fear seeping into their own mind, a cold, suffocating weight. The pendant from the previous night glowed brighter here, pulsating with a strange energy, as if it was a key, but to what? The prison? The curse? Or a path back to their true body? Suddenly, the space shuddered. A dark figure emerged from the shadows, faceless but radiating menace. It reached toward Alex with long, clawed hands, promising oblivion if they failed. Alex wrenched free, gasping for air as the room snapped back to reality. They collapsed onto the floor, heart pounding, sweat pouring down their face. It was clear now, the original owner wasn't just trapped, they were fading, slipping further into the void. If Alex didn't find a way to break the curse soon, both souls might be lost forever. The mirror sat silent once more, but Alex knew the other side was watching, waiting, desperate for salvation. The storm outside raged like a warning, thunder cracking through the night as Alex stood in the center of the dimly lit room. The pendant glowed fiercely in their hand, casting eerie shadows on the cracked walls. Every heartbeat echoed in the silence. This was the moment they had feared and prepared for. A dark presence filled the room, heavy and suffocating. From the shadows emerged the source of the curse, a figure cloaked in darkness, its face obscured but eyes burning with cold malice. It spoke without words, a chilling force that twisted the air with its will. Alex's mind raced. This entity held the power to keep the souls trapped, to bind identities forever in this nightmare. But there was a choice, a single moment where everything could change. The ritual to reverse the switch lay within reach, but it came with a cost. The pendant pulsed violently, seeming to connect Alex to the other trapped soul, the original owner's desperate consciousness begging for release. Alex could feel their pain, their fading hope. The choice was clear but impossible: sacrifice their own chance at freedom to save the other, or claim their body back, dooming the trapped soul to oblivion. Time slowed. The room seemed to stretch and twist as Alex's gaze met the burning eyes of the dark figure. With trembling hands, they raised the pendant, chanting the ancient words found in the hidden letters. A blast of light exploded, pushing the shadows back. The air crackled with energy as the mirror shattered, fragments scattering like stars across the floor. In the broken reflections, Alex saw two faces, their own and the original owner's, merging, sharing a moment of understanding and sacrifice. The presence screamed, fading into nothingness as the curse unraveled. When the light dimmed, Alex gasped, eyes wide, feeling the weight of their own body settle fully once again. But something had changed. The other soul was free, released from the limbo, finally at peace. Alex looked into the mirror, their reflection steady and whole. They had returned, but forever marked by the experience, a reminder that some stories don't end with simple answers. Outside, the storm passed. The first light of dawn broke through the clouds, promising a fragile new beginning.